Howdy folks and welcome. Today we'll be talking about the best first-person shooter ever made. Yes, I said that, and I hope you know by now that I don't generalize about opinionated topics. Now, I'm not saying Half-Life 2 is the best game ever created. There are too many genres and game mechanics to have a definitive best of. When replaying Half-Life 2 for this retrospective, I couldn't stop thinking how good the gameplay felt. Then someone on my Discord asked, have you thought about any first-person shooter made after 1999? They all have something in common. They all play like Half-Life. I really had to think about this concept because I guess growing up having started with Half-Life, I've known nothing else. So how does a game from 2004 still hold up so well that almost 20 years later it can still be called the best first-person shooter ever made? Well, let's find out. We will be examining Half-Life 2 through 4 lenses: scope, gameplay, visuals, and story. To do this, we'll have to step into the shoes of our reliable physicist, Gordon Freeman, and go through the whole game with these themes in mind. By doing so, I hope to persuade you of my argument, and if you are in the same camp, maybe help relive some of the best single-player gaming moments of your life. Let's start out by saying, if you have not played Half-Life 2, please stop this video right now and play it. There's a generation that probably does not know that Valve even created games, and it would be a shame to watch this video first without playing. Half-Life 2 starts off with one of the most iconic lines in gaming.
The right man in the wrong place can make all the difference in the world. So wake up, Mr. Freeman. Wake up and smell the ashes.
The G-Man is one of the better vague characters and sends shivers down my spine each time. And wow, this is appreciation number 1 out of a billion, but look at those facial animations. This is 2004 and it looks like the year before LA Noire. The visuals at the start are fantastic. There's a great sadness within the train car starting off. Even Breen's lines about you choosing or have been chosen to move is ominous.
You have chosen or been chosen to relocate to one of our finest remaining urban centers. I thought so much of City 17 that I elected to establish my administration.
All right, I'm moving.
And we can hear from the other citizens that they are purposefully getting moved around a lot. Already, we are in for some heavy-hitting themes. It evokes memories of the Holocaust as well, people being put on trains to undisclosed destinations, the woman's missing husband, the stealing of luggage. I think Valve knew exactly what they were doing to make that point. Yes, we are on Earth, but something has drastically changed. This is all within the first 5 minutes of you starting the game. If you aren't intrigued, I don't know what floats your boat. You even have the classic Combine soda can interaction. I thought I got away with it. You can always see those great details in the opening area, the people getting their grain, or the Gestapo-like tactics that you can see immediately. Even the North Korean propaganda TVs everywhere with Dr. Breen. It is so well done, and it is insanely good world building. You really see how the people of City 17 survive. This is not just in the beginning. There will be many other points in this game where Valve made the flow of gameplay through level design and gameplay mechanics so fluid and engaging that it has to be admired. I think another quick point I want to make is that these 4 lenses that we're viewing the game in usually all align, which makes a bigger difference. What I mean by that is that usually they all complement each other, not just one being over another. Anyways, the Combines start to get the picture that we're not supposed to be there and start chasing us. This was such a fun first set piece to the game. Running through attics and rooftops getting shot at will always be a fond memory. I love this part, and I love Alex's banter.
Dr. Freeman, I presume. You better hurry. The Combine can be slow to wake, but once they're up, you don't want to get in their way.
Especially calling Gordon out for his lack of words.
Man, a few words, aren't you?
This was also a really great scene with Alex jumping over the railing and the scripting. It doesn't look like much now, but those animations back in 04 were a spectacle, and honestly, still look fantastic today. We get to meet up with Dr. Kleiner, an old colleague of Gordon's. I love Dr. Kleiner, but I do not understand his obsession with Lamar. Like, how has Dr. Kleiner not lost anyone he's cared about to a headcrab? Like, half the staff got turned into zombies at Black Mesa. Luckily for us, it's a red letter day. Kleiner and Eli have been working on a teleportation device, which, if you watched my Portal 2 video, made this even more interesting. Both the Combine and the Black Mesa side do not know about the aperture teleportation technology. Throughout the game, both parties, the Combine and humans, are working towards understanding teleportation even more. Ironically, G-Man does this teleportation with ease, as we can see in Half-Life 1 and 2. Just seeing how much energy and technology they're using for their portal system when the player knows the portal gun has existed for more than 40 years, actually, could someone check on that, is super outstanding and really cool world building. And the world knowledge that the player holds feels like a secret. And it's like that secret feels so good. You're holding it against Harvard and Ivy League grads who don't know anything about it. It made me also question if G-Man had any interactions with Cave Johnson. Cave Johnson went from shower curtain salesman to developing aperture. Anyways, Valve does have a great way with their comedy.
Good job, Gordon. Throwing that switch and all. I can see your MIT education really pays for itself.
All right, Barney. Your turn.
Gee, thanks.
Gordon.
And sets up their characters for good development and a good break from heavy-hitting themes of the game. Another iconic moment is this malfunction of the teleporter. This, when I was a child, really solidified my interest in this game, and today shows how good Valve storytelling is. Up until this point, I have not questioned a single thing, and I have just been on this journey completely enthralled. It doesn't stop from here. Look at what they're doing, showing the world in just a few jumps. I love Dr. Breen's reaction and seeing the advisor he's talking to. You know there's so much more. Also, that gigantic alien fish was a great touch. Valve could have said all of this in some exposition dump, but look how masterfully they just moved the story. Not only do we have the next catalyst to go somewhere, but we've just seen our villain, in an oddly intimate way, but also confirming the possibility of other worlds, similarly to Half-Life 1, and refusing the G-Man at the end. Another iconic moment, maybe donate 25 cents to your local animal shelter every time I say iconic moment in this video. But Gordon holding the crowbar is the image of the franchise. Going through the train yard yet again, I was blown away by how beautiful the game looked, how real this place felt, and how scared I was about civil protection running me down. Even with the story now unfolding, you still have these visual narratives, like the couple being beaten and the woman saying now they'll be looking for you. That's details. Life is detailed. And when you get that feeling in a video game, you rarely want to let go of that. We continue on, and yes, the railroad is heavy-handed, but it also fits perfectly into the theme. If you don't know what the Underground Railroad was, it was designed to help slaves in America reach freedom. In this universe, the Resistance is bringing people out of City 17, another great world-building little detail. Also, one of the most disturbing lines as a new player is hearing the word Manhack. I don't know about you, but being anywhere that's flooded by Manhacks sounds absolutely horrible. Valve got the feeling of being chased completely down. Not only is this pacing fantastic, but what actually is going on makes sense. Gordon gets pushed to the sewers, Combine flood the sewers with explosives. Gordon escapes, get every helicopter to search for him. It's understandable and feels right, and yet it never gets overdone. Valve's choices on pacing in this game are 99% right. Having that tension running for almost 10 minutes to getting to your first physics puzzle, which I know now is not mind-blowing, but the physics being displayed in such a simple area was out of this world back then. I also love that helicopter coming in and then slyly leaving just to come back at you. Great touch. See, Valve puts these objects out so you can play with them. There's no NPC going, Gordon, use the barrels on those guys, which at some points there are tutorial style writing, but we'll get to that later. Already, Valve is giving the player the tools and it's up to the player how to use them. It's one of the most rewarding feelings in video games to discover something yourself and have it work instantly. I started to think about Watchmen and how that powerful feeling that I was not stuck with the Combine were stuck with me. That was a good feeling. Going through all the big and small canals shows City 17 in an unparalleled fashion. You get to see the city without even walking more than 7 city streets, which is a feat of brilliance that I don't see often in level design and gameplay mechanics. It's also interesting because we later find out that the Combine have been harvesting Earth's resources, mainly the water, thus leaving the coast barren and the canals drying up. We meet up with another railroad person. I love his little line. We are that.
Be glad you're not the guy they're looking for. Poor bastard doesn't stand a chance. Sounds like they're calling in every CP unit in City 17. Now they're flooding the areas up ahead with Manhacks. You better get going before they sweep through here.
Oh shit! Too late!
I'll never forget this moment. You know things are escalating. I was glad I could save him. We continue on, and again, the pacing is just brilliant. Playing with the water physics with your own player character and the other objects was great and really showed how much Valve wanted to show off the Source engine early on in the game. Hell, they show off this engine throughout the game. There was never a level where I didn't need my crowbar or eventually gravity gun. This was a great addition, not being reliant on one thing. We get our next weapon, the SMG, and oh boy, this little thing hits. It isn't my favorite gun in the game, but it does feel great. We're informed we need to keep heading to Black Mesa East.
Bad time.
Black Mesa East to Station 6. Do you read? Dr. Freeman is on his way downriver. Lend him the airboat and give him all the help you can. Repeat, Gordon Freeman has returned. It is critical he reaches Black Mesa East.
If it only were that easy. This was a great set piece and one of many. I really enjoyed the progression of seeing Lamar and knowing what headcrabs are to actually seeing one take over a human host. This was really exceptional, and I really liked how the models had changed from Half-Life 1 to 2. This area also shows off the scripting that Valve pulled off. I don't know if playing at 120 frames messed up some stuff, but playing at 60 frames these moments seem smoother. AI not getting stuck, things not working exactly as intended. We get to the next checkpoint and the Resistance has created some sort of airboat. Now, this thing drives like a 2016 Honda Mclaren F1 car. You make one sudden turn left or right and you might as well have spun already. It was really hard to control the airboat until I realized you shouldn't be moving the mouse around, just using the WASD keys. I still enjoy this part a lot because again, you're having fun gameplay wise with a cool chase scene, learning about the world you're inhabiting and progressing the story. There are some fun physics-based puzzles and a trope that Valve pulls multiple times with great success. What I call that trope is A to B to A. You fight your way to an objective just to have to fight your way back out again. This made the world feel lived in, like the Combine were truly bringing reinforcements to your last known location, like the old Splinter Cell games. They have an idea where you might be, but no idea where you truly are. It's really cool. Again, Valve progresses enemies in a way that feels organic and fun. The helicopters thus far have just been shooting at us, but now they're dropping bombs, we've been attacked by SUVs shooting missiles, and the 2000s electric beat is banging. How could you not love this? Another fantastic setup is how you can tell it's becoming nighttime. You've been running around for almost the whole day. It sets up perfectly a place we don't want to go to. We get to the next Resistance house and I really enjoyed the detail with their maps. I could believe they've been using these canals when things aren't going to hell. It also reinforces for later in the game why so many humans are for Gordon Freeman. I'm sure everyone is talking about the only dude who has the gumption and the stupidity to fight the whole Combine forces sort of by himself. Dr. Breen himself later on exclaims why people are following Gordon, saying he's just a physicist, which always gives me a laugh because it reminds me of the G-Man saying, the right man in the wrong place can make all the difference.
There we are. That gun came off one of the same 100 choppers that you're up against to tear on through to Eli's place.
The Freeman will accept this weapon or suffer greatly on the road ahead.
We get our first boss fight against the helicopter and finally make it to Black Mesa East. I had to go back into the lore books because I've forgotten almost everything between Half-Life 1 and 2, but how the hell did Kleiner and Eli get out of Black Mesa and come to City 17? Is it through the teleportation of the scientists? If someone is kind enough to leave their comment down below, I would highly appreciate that. Thank you. I love how we're introduced to the lab. Even though humanity is definitely on the back foot, it was good to know that there were some resistance fighters that had some tech and security. Anyways, we meet Judith, who I enjoyed as a character. We'll find out later why. Her excitement to work with Gordon is palpable.
We've covered a lot of ground in the last few months, but things would go so much faster if we had more people with your training. We're closing in on a reliable local teleport technology. Something the Combine still hasn't mastered. Eli thinks their portals are string-based, similar to our Calabial model, but they've failed to factor in the dark energy equations. They can tunnel through from their universe, but once they're here, they're dependent on local transportation. If they knew what we were doing with entanglement...
And she drops some stuff about how she wished she was there during the Black Mesa incident. Here, there's another combination of lenses, being storytelling and also visual narration. If you're coming from Half-Life 1 killing all those Vortigons you can see, to seeing them working in the kitchen and helping out humanity, oh man, it's a trip. You can feel your descent, which obviously it's a game, you're not really descending, but you feel it. I don't know what it is, and maybe someone will have their own answer, but coming from Portal 2 and now this, and later on in Half-Life, Valve somehow nails the feeling of movement and the scope of the areas you go to.
Now let's see. The last time I saw you, I sent you up for help after the resonance cascade. I never thought it would take you this long to get back to me. Welcome to the lab anyway. It's not Black Mesa, but it served us well enough.
I really do enjoy this quiet moment, and it saddens me knowing what is to come next. I really enjoyed looking around the lab. They have their resonance cascade machine, an overseer head, and some other stuff. There's also a bulletin board too that has some information about what has happened since Gordon has been in stasis, and there's even a script for Eli to talk to Gordon about the newspaper clippings.
7 hours war by managing Earth's surrender. The Combine rewarded him with power.
Absolutely great touch. We get shooed away to sit at the kids' table and play fetch with Dog. There is a Chekhov's gun line about Ravenholm.
We don't go there anymore.
And oh boy, did I hear that when I was 10. As I said before, Valve gives the tools to the players and we get to decide what to do with them. As freaking cool as the gravity gun is, I completely understand someone going, well, I have my guns, why do I need this? Even playing fetch made it seem a little wimpy, but that's why this game is the best FPS ever. Because it's not just the guns that kill people, it can be the saws too. Unfortunately, Paradise is lost and the Combine forces attack the area. We get separated from Alex, which was weird considering Dog was right there and lifts up heavier things later in the game. Oh well, we're forced to go to Ravenholm, and oh boy, this place is scary. Now, for as scary as it is, and just purely fantastic storytelling, gameplay mechanics, and sound are in this level, once you realize the level was designed to be a testing ground for the gravity gun, even making an achievement to only use the gravity gun in the level, you're thinking of it as, these zombies are stuck here with me. I cannot tell you how much fun I had using the traps that Father Grigori set up, no matter how disturbing they were. Using any objects I could find to fend off the waves of zombies felt organic and tense. I did switch over to real weapons, not going for the achievement because I just love the shotgun in this game. Anyways, we do meet Father Grigori. I assume a semi-retired pastor from the area that has survived the complete evisceration of his town by Combine shelling.
What? Who is this? Another life to save? I'll keep my eye on you. More than that, I cannot promise.
You can see how much the Combine dropped on this place. There are headcrab dispensers everywhere. Really neat touch. We continue on. One odd thing about this whole game and series is the Deus Ex Machina factor to it all. I love how Gordon multiple times in this game just goes, yeah, I think I'll just follow this. I get the pastor saves us and helps him fend off the first wave of zombies, but this guy kind of seems loco. One small note that I had is the fact that one of the traps in the middle of a level just breaks. I thought this was so amazing because at that point every trap has worked. Luckily there weren't enemies near me, but seeing the fan blades just pop up and being thrown to the ground useless was like a uh-oh moment. Unfortunately, I don't know where the footage of this went, but it's in one of the main square areas of Ravenholm. I also enjoyed the platforming in this area too, and honestly with the general game. We kill some more zombies and another iconic moment. Wow, has anyone been tracking these? I will never forget the fast zombies. Playing Counter-Strike Source zombie mod servers, the sounds have become normalized, if not still a little eerie. But when first playing this game, holy moly, hearing their callings to each other is heart-stomping. Sound design isn't the best in this game, but Ravenholm does have one of the better soundscapes comparable to other levels.
There is no rest in Ravenholm. Move on and I will meet you at the church. I think no worse of thee.
One of the many reasons why I think this game should get a remaster in the new Source engine, if it was just the textures and Steam audio. We fight through Ravenholm, and thinking about it this time, I won't show that much more. There's a lot of defend this area moments, but leading up to the graveyard definitely changed things up. Hearing the zombies on the ridgeline was horrifying, and being out in the open compared to the claustrophobic areas of Inner Ravenholm was uncomfortable.
Come to light, I can. Come.
We thank Father Grigori and watch him escape. I think through into the crypt protected by fire. I don't know, I just wish this guy the best. We kill even more headcrabs in a mine and then somehow make it back to some sort of civilization. This transition coming back from the Night of Horrors was magnificent. The music complemented the transition, and you're starting to get the feeling that things are unraveling. Like, it's not normal for zombies to be on train tracks, right? We make it to another resistance pocket, and they have a radio contact with Alex. She informs us that Eli has been captured by the Combine and that he's destined for Nova Prospect, the death camp of City 17. We take the buggy through the coast. This is probably the least engaging parts of the game. I did enjoy exploring the small buildings or the coast, especially seeing how badly the Combine have depleted the oceans. Yet the buggy controlled worse than the airboat, even with not using my mouse to look around. So again, nothing is perfect. And I like how the magnet failed. You had to be really quick on your toes to get the car right up. Now, not saying you don't feel like a hero driving around, it just stinks that when you make a left turn you'll spin out. Now, I'm going to be showing visuals from all of this, but there really isn't anything meaty. There is a lot of fun gameplay mechanics, but this part is where I felt like Valve only focused on one aspect, being the action. That is 100% okay, but you do feel it since everything else up to this point is more fleshed out. There is some platforming which I enjoyed, but we make it yet to another railroad station. On a normal day, did people really do this journey? My god, we fight an ant queen, which was fun. Who doesn't like shooting rockets at aliens? I think Half-Life 2 also does a great job with introducing other alien creatures. Not just the antlions, but we'll see later on in the Citadel that there are a lot more creatures that the Combine uses, and we just never see them, which is a shame, but also gives me hope in 20 years we might see another side to the franchise, whether that's with Alex, Gordon, or, I'm not kidding, just give me a VR walking simulator, Valve. Please. Thank you. Alright. Anyways, we get our tutorial about the antlion pheromones, which felt very forced. I mean, it's right or left click. I did not understand why this was not done organically like the other weapons. We continue on and storm the beaches of Normandy, it seems. I really enjoyed hearing the Combine announcer getting increasingly worried about us turning off the thumpers. It really shows you, even though the Combine have power, they aren't really dominant. I also enjoy this because the world seems to not just be black and white. There's differences, power balances, and everything under the sun. This level does have a great sequence of bunkers too. I love seeing the flares, and if someone showed me gameplay 2 weeks ago of this, I would have said this footage came out like 3 years ago. The lighting isn't always amazing, but there are specific times that just left my jaw dropped. We break into Nova Prospect and, oh boy, this place is creepy. I love the old abandoned jail feel, and it really shows how the Combine are more of a cancer than a creator. I noticed that a lot of the Combine technology is built into the existing world. They do have their own buildings, but they also use almost every building and repurpose it, but not fully. It's like they grow on wherever they are, but they never fully take it over. Yet. I enjoy the beginning of Nova Prospect level. Commanding the ants to attack Combine forces or turret positions was always entertaining. It felt like I was leading a little resistance, even if it was with alien creatures. Another interesting thing I noticed, and my mind might just be here since I finished Portal 2 last week, is that the turrets almost sound the same and act the same as Portal turrets. Now, there is a simple explanation. Valve is lazy. They just reskinned and repurposed the sound. That might be true, but I always thought that there is a connection between the turrets of the Combine and the turrets of Aperture. Whoever these intergalactic power brokers are, they seem to share information between worlds readily. We meet up with Alex further into the prison and we start seeing the severity of what the Combine is doing. This really had me shocked playing today. I did not understand many of the references back in 04, but seeing the trains pulling in, offloading hundreds of people, I could not feel the horror in my heart. There's something so disturbing about the way Valve portrayed the inner workings of the Combine. It was like a spider that was picking at their web, so many little hands meticulously plucking and picking. Also, is Alex Doctor Who? What is this device she gets into the Combine tech with? Is it an electronic screwdriver? Anyways, if the visuals weren't enough, Alex's line and delivery cements that this place is pure evil. I'll just let this scene play out.
Alex, Gordon, is that really you? I can't believe you found me.
Dad, are you all right?
I'm fine, but you've got to get out of here.
I love how smart Alex is, and she has a great idea of using the Combine teleporter to go back to Dr. Kleiner's lab. There are some great defensive set pieces in this part, and I love setting up the turrets and defending against waves of Combine, which were engaging and difficult. We start to figure out that Judith has double-crossed us and is working with Dr. Breen in the Combine. We finally catch up to her. I really enjoyed this part because it shows true nuance. Judith really wants to save Eli and knows he is one of the smartest people in the world, but even though she denies having feelings for him, you can tell something has clouded her judgment. The Combine teleporter is amazing. Look at what they need to travel between bases on Earth. I love how they copied what the humans have been doing. Now, did Judith feed them the info, or did they have the same thought process? Thank you for the lore help. It's been 20 years. Judith pulls whoopsies and teleports herself and Eli somewhere else. We get another hold down the fort set piece, and seeing the elite troops flooding the room at the end is always a great visual. We finally make our way out of this hellhole to discover another nefarious thing. We did teleport, but we did not do it fast. To our surprise, more than a week has passed since the events of Nova Prospect, and Dr. Kleiner explains that the attack on Nova Prospect was a sort of calling to the resistance to start the rebellion. This was really interesting because I could totally understand why people would accept Gordon as a pseudo-savior after taking down Nova Prospect. And Valve doesn't just sit with that. While helping the rebellion, you'll see people sitting down crying about why this is happening, or you'll find multiple people that took their own lives. Another thing I could understand, going against an alien oppressor probably feels more than an uphill battle. We meet back up with Dog and we get such a cool script. I don't remember this, and I was blown away by everything functioning, even to the end. Like, how cool is this? Going back to the starting area of the game is always a great touch. It truly makes the player feel powerful and accomplished. We get our Saddam statue toppling, and I'd say the resistance is off to a good start. Another neat touch was Dr. Breen pleading with humanity not to rebel anymore. It's like an abusive relationship. He's blaming humanity for not evolving towards the Combine. Like, Breen, we get it. You have a fancy office at the top, but how could you not understand instinct is intrinsically human?
It did not. It crept forth boldly while its brethren remained in the blackest ocean abyss, with lidless eyes forever staring at the dark, ignorant and doomed despite their eternal vigilance. Would we model ourselves on the trilobite? Are all the accomplishments of humanity fated to be nothing more than a layer of broken plastic shards, thinly strewn across a fossil bed, sandwiched between the Burgess Shale and an eon's worth of mud?
Again, Valve blends level design with the game mechanics. I love going in and out of small apartments to then big boulevards. It made the area feel dynamic and lived in. We're tasked with finding Barney, who has started the assault on the Citadel for Eli. Hell, at this point, Valve, I would buy a $60 walking simulator through City 17 if it meant I could go back. There's another set piece that I absolutely adore, not just because it has you facing off against a laser mortar, but also the fact that Barney doesn't even know what the building did anymore. It goes back to what I was saying before about how the Combine are a form of cancer. They aren't making anything new. They're corrupting the old, and with that, people don't remember the past without reminders. Once those reminders are taken, then who is there to remember? It makes you think. There was another moment while within the building that truly was magnificent, and whoever directed this game, good God, there was almost never a miss. Seeing the Combine cutting down the door and also being able to see them on the monitor and camera looking at the other side was pure genius. I felt the tension and also excitement, knowing I was about to spam energy orbs through those poor souls. You can also kill a Strider, which sadly the footage was not found because I definitely forgot to hit record again. Gives you a reason to play through this game. Anyways, we finally get to the Citadel, and yet again Valve does its masterclass with all of the 4 lenses that we started the video off with: scope, gameplay, visuals, and story. Well, my God, do you see this? I was talking earlier about Valve having something special with heights in games and ascending or descending feeling real. This is one of those moments where I was completely awestruck by all 4 of our lenses coming together in one of the most amazing cutscenes. And yes, this is a cutscene. I think they are trying very much to evoke Half-Life 1's start, where you have no agency over yourself. You're in the train, you're in the holding cell, moving to your next destination your benefactors have chosen. It's a really good metaphor for the dilemma Gordon is in, and it gives us a great chance to see what's inside the Citadel. I think I'm right by comparing the many little appendages to a spider building her web. This place is huge. Seeing the Striders walking the long halls to the creepy IT guys lining the walls, this always stayed in my head. And just after this long cutscene, you get one of the best guns in the game. I was in shock when they first took away everything, but now knowing what the game designers were giving us, oh boy, there's no looking back. Dr. Breen starts his drivel. He does have some points where I understand where he's coming from, and this was a great way to show more Breen. You can feel you're getting closer, and you can hear it in his voice too.
So, this is Dr. Freeman. At last. I wish I could say this was a pleasant surprise, but it's neither a surprise nor, as you will surely agree, very pleasant. Dr. Freeman, under other circumstances, I like to think we might have been able to work together in an atmosphere of mutual trust and respect. Certainly, judging from your brief tenure at Black Mesa while I was its administrator, you showed every promise of becoming a valuable and productive contributor to the scientific process. And yet, I'm not sure what spurred you to it. But there is really no place in this enterprise for a rogue physicist. Than my sorrow over your unfortunate choice of career path. In a way, I suppose you could not have done otherwise. Who knows what seeds of iconoclasm they planted when you were young and gullible. But while they certainly share a great part of the responsibility for the recent troubles, it is you alone who have chosen to act with such willful disregard for humanity's future.
There are some great moments ascending the Citadel, like using the energy orbs like they were paint cans. Also, taking down a Strider was absolutely an insanely awesome moment. Again, look at these visuals and then ask yourself, do you feel like playing this game? If you've never played Half-Life 2, I could argue, par some textures, that this game was made recently. They nailed the fundamentals of what a first-person shooter should be and should have mechanically, and went above and beyond with their dedication to the physics engine and their own story. I felt like a god grabbing soldiers and just dropping them to their doom on the elevator. I never questioned once why I didn't have any other guns. This was just such a design choice that paid off tenfold. Weirdly, we get another moment where the game just makes us get into a travel catalyst, which I'm not a big fan of, but then again, if G-Man is controlling the show, I bet Gordon thinks every connection is a sign from him. We get taken to Breen's office, and again, the scope of the Citadel is massive. Even crazier, what are these bug things? Like, come on, Valve! Does the Combine use the other enslaved races as weapons of war? This would have been beyond fascinating to explore. Please, Valve, Gabe Newell, I'll say it twice in one video, continue with this universe. At this point, I don't care about Half-Life 3. I just want to see more of the world you so expertly built for so many years. I love seeing those attack ships going out and seeing the city, even if it was a skybox. Judith brings us to Breen, and I really enjoy how Valve just lets you control the camera. It makes you feel like a director, something I haven't mentioned before, but does need saying. Look how expertly crafted the staging is. It's almost like a play. Breen's voice actor and the writing is superb. The amount of excitement about not being killed by Gordon is palpable.
My gratitude, Doctor. First you lead me straight to the doorstep of my oldest friend, and then you deliver yourself? If I'd known you were going to come straight up to my office, I wouldn't have bothered hunting you in the first place.
I also found it fascinating that Breen does know that the G-Man is an entity, and they contract players out. I'm sure the Combine know too, and doesn't Eli know in episode 1 and 2?
It has shown it is willing to accept a new leader, and this one has proven to be a fine pawn for those who control him.
No!
Don't listen to him, Gordon.
How about it, Dr. Freeman? Did you realize your contract was open to the highest bidder?
Gordon would never make any kind of deal with you.
I understand if you don't wish to discuss this in front of your friends. I'll send them on their way, and then we can talk openly.
Oh, I was not expecting this the first time I played this game. I really do like Judith's character, and choosing the right choice in the end really made her arcs feel special.
Guards, get in here! They know you betrayed them. They'll turn on you. Judith, Dr. Mossman, please.
I'm sorry, Wallace. You're all out of time.
Breen starts his escape, and again, it's not just chase the villain up the stairs. Breen is trying to escape to a different realm and is desperately trying to convince the Combine advisor to send him to a more hospitable world. At a certain point, Breen accepts he will need to transfer his own consciousness to a host body, and knowing how the other worlds are when Gordon refuses the G-Man in Half-Life 1, Breen might be screwed either way. I guess Alex and Gordon are ready to sacrifice themselves to stop Breen. I love his dialogue. Valve just is masterclass in their writing again.
Do your worst, Gordon. But be careful.
Really shouldn't be out there. At the moment of synapse, as I teleport, this chamber will be bathed in deadly particles that have yet to be named by human science. Perhaps when I have the leisure to do the work myself, I'll name one of them after you. That way you won't be completely forgotten.
We fight our way up and use our upgraded grav gun to destroy the teleporter. He even has the audacity to say, "Think about the people." And then like that, our old friend arrives. This will always give me a chill.
No! You need me.
Yeah! You did it! Come on, Gordon. We've got to get out of here. Maybe we still have...
Time, Dr. Freeman? Is it really that time again? It seems as if you only just arrived. You've done a great deal in a small time span. You've done so well, in fact, that I've received some interesting offers for your services.
My God, give me more information about the G-Man. You can see his interest in Alex first, which is so interesting considering what the next games have in store. Obviously, the G-Man has almost full control over time and teleportation. In a way, if you think about what Kleiner was saying about delayed travel, maybe Gordon's stasis isn't just stasis. Maybe the G-Man is portaling him slowly to different areas, while for the G-Man, he can just open up a door and be out. Wow. I cannot believe this is the end of the game. I literally want to play episodes 1 and 2 so badly, but I know World of Warcraft Phase 2 is coming out soon, so I'm going to be sinking my teeth into that for the time being, but I will definitely be doing the episodes later on. Wow, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this. In the end, I think Half-Life 2 is truly the best first-person shooter ever made for its unique gameplay, interesting visuals, grand scope, and excellent story. I laid out my evidence by playing the game, and even though the game is not perfect, no game is. I cannot wait to see what the comments have in store, and let me know what you think the best first-person shooter game is. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a comment, like, and subscribe. And if you really loved it, check out some of my other videos. I'm sure you'll find something too. And as always, see you next time.